Hey, we're back for another segment of Hauncon 2020. Thanks everybody for coming by today. We had a great intro. I posted the video. We had a great live stream of me drawing stuff. For some reason, my settings were set to friends only. I've changed them to public, so more people should be able to see that now. Sorry about that. I don't know how exactly that happened. I blame Facebook. But we're live, and what we're doing right now is getting ready for another segment. This one is the panel. Every show, every good show, every show has panels where you can meet creators, talk to them, listen to them ramble about stuff incessantly, and where you can ask them questions. So what I did for this was today and tomorrow at 5 o'clock Central Time, I am going to be doing a panel where I focus on a couple of things and answer a few questions. Today, I had something I had to take care of at 4 o'clock, so I didn't get to have 4 o'clock whiskey. 4 o'clock whiskey is a tradition with us at conventions. So today I'm going to have 5 o'clock whiskey, I guess. I'm going to have some, since we normally would have been at Emerald City Comic Con, and I'm missing out on that. Here at home, we're going to have some Pacific Northwest. It's from Oregon as opposed to Washington, but this is McCarthy's Pot Distilled Whiskey. It's a peated whiskey. It is barrel aged 3 years in Portland, Oregon. It's fantastic. I really love it. And I'm just going to pour a bit of a Glencairn of that for myself. And yeah, we still are going to do the cocktail hour in a little bit, but this is 4 o'clock whiskey, and this is a tradition at conventions, so I want to do that. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about my book, The Red Mother from Boom Studios, and then I'm going to answer a few questions. We're also going to do a call-in with a special guest, someone that I'm working on a project with, and we're going to hint about what's coming up. For a second, I want to talk about The Red Mother. The Red Mother is my book from Boom Studios. It's a horror book comic. It's really special to me. After taking a couple of years and working in creator-owned comics, I'm telling stories, and I'm telling these stories very much in the way that I want to. And while both the beauty and the realm have elements of horror in them, I really wanted to tell a pure horror story. I wanted to delve into the things that creep me out. I used to be scared of everything as a kid, and then somewhere along the lines I stopped worrying about any of that. And sometimes I just want to be creeped out. So I look for movies or whatever that fulfill that for me, and have a lot of fun with horror. So The Red Mother's a horror story. It's about Daisy McDonough. She is a young woman that is in a good place in life. She has a man that she rather likes, maybe is growing to love, and they're on their way home from a night out eating way too much pizza, and they're going to go home. And along the way, something happens, and they are attacked mysteriously, and her boyfriend Luke is dragged off into the distance. He disappears, and in that she loses an eye. And Daisy, in losing the eye, she wakes up about a week later. She's lost the guy that she loves. She's lost her eye, and it's very much a story about dealing with trauma and trying to recuperate from that, while at the same time she gets a new prosthetic eye and starts to see through it, and everything is red, and something terrible is coming for her after her. It's a 12-issue maxi series that we're doing through Boom. Boom's been incredibly supportive. I am working with Danny Luckert. He is the artist and colorist on the project. Danny is fantastic. I'm absolutely honored to be working with him on this project. He's I'm gonna have a little bit of whiskey. Hold on. Oh, that's good. Danny is really bringing it all to this. He has a real knack for character moments, and this is definitely a character story. But then we take things to 11 and really bring the horror a few times. And right now we're on issue 3. Issue 4 comes out next Wednesday. That's technically the cliffhangery end of the first arc. We're going, like I said, it's 12 issue maxi series, so it's kind of a 3-act structure sort of thing. So right now we're well ahead on the book. Danny is drawing issue 6. I'm writing issue 7. We're just having a ball doing this book, and I invite you all to check it out. I know that we've had several printings of things. Issues 1 and 2 are back in print, and we're gearing up for, I think we're okay on the 3rd issue, but you should be able to get a current printing of all 4 issues next Wednesday if you want to dive in deep. So contact your local store shop, and we'll have fun with it. What I'm going to do, I've got a trusty assistant today that is helping me out. We've got some questions that have come in from all of you across various social media platforms. So he's going to read the questions, and then I'm going to answer them to the best of my ability. You wanna go ahead?
Sure. Okay. What is something you tell your younger self about being in comics that you know now?
What is something that I would tell my younger self about? Be better to your back. Making comics is fantastic. It's it's the best thing in my world. But it's long hours sitting in, this is my chair that I draw in, and posture is very important. When you're drawing, you tend to have this giant bowling ball. I have a really big head, but like you have this giant bowling ball, and you're looking down like this and drawing. And even if you have an elevated surface, there's still some degree of looking down constantly. And then you sit like this, or I tend to sit like this. You can see this kind of canted posture, which really screws up your back and everything. So be better to your back. Treat yourself well. Also, I think I would have reminded myself to take risks for me, to tell the stories that I wanted to tell, the way I want to tell them. For a long time, I had stories in my head, and I didn't necessarily always feel like I could and should be the one to write those stories. Now I write and draw my own stuff all the time, and I love it. And that's something that I'm going to do more and more of as time progresses. You're going to see a lot of it from me. What's the next one?
Hats. Is there a style that refuses to be put on your dome?
A hat question. I love getting a hat question. Hats. I don't really wear ball caps. Wear whatever hat looks good on your head. Do it. Do what you want to do. I tend to not wear ball caps at all. I wear, like this kind of thing, or a lot of fedoras, I also don't do a lot of really stingy brim hats. You get those like pork pie hats or stuff like that, and I appreciate that maybe they look good on some people. Not my thing. Somebody just asked what I'm drinking. Let's go for that again. So I have a drink of it. It is McCarthy's Oregon Single Malt Pot Distilled Whiskey. I got this while in Portland. I love this. It's a peated whiskey, so it's kind of that campfirey peaty goodness. It's I love the Pacific Northwest, and anytime I'm in Portland for a show or whatever, I try to pick up a local bottle, and this is one that I've gotten now several times because I just like it. Yeah. But yeah, hats. Wear what you want to wear. I certainly do. I wear a lot of hats. I like them.
How long until we get the next issues of The Realm?
So we are taking a break on the Realm right now. The majority of the reason that we are taking that break is, right now in comics, these things take a long time to produce. We're working incredibly hard on them, and we're telling these stories because we love them. There always is a concern that we can make sure that the members of our teams can feed their families. That I can feed my family, that the artists and letterers and everyone are making a wage. And the past couple of years, comics have changed. Single issues are getting harder and harder to produce. People are waiting for the trade, and I'm going to say it again and again and again. Read comics how you read comics. If you read comics digitally, I support you. If you read single issues, I support you. If you read comics in the trades, I support you. Sometimes, if we don't sell single issues, it's hard for us to make it to the trade. We currently are in a place where, with The Realm, we're trying to figure out how to produce it and make it both the book that you know and love and viable to make sure that we, as the creators, can do it. We're looking at what the next year is going to be like. Because of the situation, we all had to take on a couple projects. We have obligations. But we're going to get through those, and then we're going to get back to The Realm as soon as we can. We have some interesting things in the works with The Realm that are outside of comics that may actually help. You never know. It's pretty general. Sorry, I don't mean to be, too evasive about stuff, but we're doing what we can. The plan as it stands is we would really like to try to at least do one arc per year of The Realm. We want to get back in, and whether that arc looks like 5 issues or 6 issues or 7 issues, we can kind of tell the story the way we want to. If you want to look at Headlopper from Andrew McLean, that's a great model. He does these quarterly books. I don't think we're going to do quarterly. I think we'll still do, single issues monthly when we do them. But I think probably similar to something like Hellboy or BPRD, you're going to get a story from us a year. And we're hoping, like I said, we're going to finish up what we're working on. I've got some obligations. Our team has some obligations, but we'll get back as soon as we can. And we love you that love The Realm. We appreciate every one of you.
How do the cities you live in and visit influence you on your backgrounds in your comics? I love architecture. I love buildings. I am, if I'm out, I'm either taking a picture of some food or a drink or of buildings. I love looking at the places. I love getting to see the world around me, and I love classic design. So, you'll see little bits of Joplin in my books. You'll see, right now, San Francisco plays a big part in the final witness that I'm drawing, and while I haven't spent as much time there as I'd like, I really am trying to do the research and make sure that it at least feels predominantly like San Francisco. There's like, we talk about the rule of cool a lot in comics, and I really, I know that a lot of my stuff still feels very real world, but it's important to me to kind of try to follow that rule of cool and have it feel like a place, but still, if I'm worrying over if you turn left rather than right, I'm probably gonna drive myself crazy. We got another question. Somebody just asked, will you ever shave the beard? Accidents happen. Sometimes you slip with clippers, and that might be the only way.
I have been thinking of it's kind of a little long right now and a little grand. I do think about trimming it back occasionally, but I'm an old man, and the less of this you can actually see, I'm doing you a favor. That's the fact, you know. Like, although now I'm looking back and saying that, you know, but yeah, I'm doing you a favor by trying to make you see less of this. So you know, just enjoy the gloriousness of the what hair I can grow.
Who is the final witness?
Who is the final witness? That's a loaded question. I can't. So the final witness is. I can talk more about what the final witness the book is than I can talk about who is the final witness. That's going to be a whole thing. I don't know if we're talking about the hero in the book or if we're talking about someone else and what they're seeing and what they're experiencing. I can tell you that there are a lot of questions that we're posing in the book and going to be posing, and you're going to be a little surprised maybe by the final answer. It's really cagey, I'm sorry. That's the best I can do right this 10 seconds.
What are your favorite movie?
Favorite, well, you know, I don't really do like favorite movies. I have movies that I watch over and over and over again. I mean, classically, some real know-it-all snobby jerk friends of mine like to point out that I have some pretty ridiculous movie tastes. I watch a lot of stuff. I watch some bad stuff, and I kind of like it. But my favorite movies, probably the ones that I get back to the most often, are I always go back to Raiders of the Lost Ark, Empire Strikes Back, Halloween, The Shining. Now I'm looking over at my movie wall, trying to figure out what I'm forgetting. I mean, those stand out. I watch a lot of horror movies. I watch a lot of horror movies over and over and over again. I love all genre, though. I watch a lot of crime stuff. I watch a lot of science fiction, fantasy. I really think that we shouldn't, as storytellers, tie ourselves down. Tell the kind of story you want to tell. What I'm doing right now, I'm telling horror stories. I'm telling fantasy stories. Like what you like. Don't be tied down to just one particular thing. So, man. I think I can read. Sorry, that's pretty light. Why don't you read the question? Yeah, these are people are asking this right now. Just read the question to me.
Why is no one filming season 1 of The Realm?
Why is no one filming season 1 of The Realm? I blame interesting stuff is going on. I just got a message yesterday saying I've been thinking a lot about The Realm right now from someone that I rather want to work with on stuff. Things take time. Some things you get the right moment and the right energy and the right synergy, and things take off very, very quickly. We are in kind of a prime time for television, and there is exciting stuff going on across the board. A lot of stuff's being optioned. A lot of stuff's being made. I make comics so that I can tell the comic stories that I want to tell. Anything beyond that is just a bonus. I hope that maybe something great happens and we get one of these projects made. They're all in some sort of state. I hope for good things. We'll see. So we've gone through some of the questions. Time-wise, I'm going to need to go ahead and shift over to a thing. If we have some time at the end, we might bounce back. but I don't want to cut too much into the cocktail hour session. So we're gonna do a phone call. We're gonna try something. I'm gonna call someone. I'm gonna put it on speaker. They're gonna be a special guest. Let me know if the sound is okay enough. If not, we can move the phone closer to the iPad. This is like, look, I'm not a good tech guy. This is if I showed you the lean-to version of what we're doing right now, some of you would just shake your heads in disgust and probably leave. But so we're gonna do what we can. I am calling now.
Hello, sir.
Hello. So I've got Chris Mitten on here.
Hello.
Chris is one of my favorite people in the world. So Chris, say something so that I can see how the levels are, if people can actually hear you.
I'm hunched honestly over my desk trying to drink some coffee and get some work done and taking a little break talking to you. This is going to be fun.
Oh, nice. So you're having coffee. I'm having a little bit of whiskey.
I think you win, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw earlier at all. I got a giant box of coffee today. Like it's literally in a box. It's like a pot of coffee that I got from in the box. As two guys that live on coffee, I feel like this is the wave of the future.
This is the future. It's going to have to be like drop shipped to me on my like on my apartment's balcony. I look forward to it.
I feel like an Amazon drone could probably deliver a box of coffee to you.
This is all I ask. It's a simple request, really. I think. I don't know. I don't ask for much.
Yeah.
Just a lot of coffee.
Right. All the coffees. That's pretty good.
All the coffees and somehow less twitchiness. If I can somehow pull that off, that would be a nice balance.
You do know
Still
that.
working on it.
You do know that doesn't work, right? Like you get either more coffee or you get less twitchy.
I don't know. I figure, if they could find the Higgs boson, they could crack this, or I can crack it. It's one of those things.
So for people
I'll
that
work it out.
So for people that don't know you incredibly well, can we talk really quick about a few things that you've done? I love you, and I think that you are maybe the best ever, but some people might not know you. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
I don't know. There's sort of frighteningly little to tell. But I worked, I don't know, I've just drawn all my life and been somehow able to cobble it together as a profession for the past 15, 16 years and been able to hit some really nice, stops along the way, working with people like Anthony Johnson and Wasteland and Umbral and Steve Niles on Third Days Night, and The Disciples and Criminal Macabre, and a lot more recently been hanging around in the Magnolaverse, doing books like On the Black Flame and Rasputin, and I got to do 3 issues of Hellboy. I'm just finishing up a Wishfinder run, so I'm kind of everywhere, all over the place. So I'm out there. If you look, you can find me.
Right. Well, you're also probably the most ridiculously humble, talented person I know. You've worked on all this stuff. It's all fantastic, and you're still a good guy. How does that work?
Just lots of isolation and I don't know. Just fluke and happenstance, I guess. I don't know. It's just, I guess I am the way I am, and I am incredibly fortunate to be doing this odd little job that we get to do as a thing. And, it just kind of, like we're having an iffy day or a crummy day, you're like, hold on a second. You don't have a ton to really complain about. You get to, if, again, the cliche thing, if, 12-year-old me there's no real reason to complain. I get to, sit around, and listen to music I want, or the movies I want, and I get to draw little people in little boxes all day for a living. And I don't know, I've just been very fortunate kind of the whole way through, and I've been surrounded both, kind of in my personal life and certainly in my professional life. It's just a lot of really kind and supportive people along the way. So that just kind of helps, I guess, take the edge off of anything potentially. So, but I still go back to fluke and happenstance that it all, kind of worked out that I am still okay-ish as a person.
Right.
I don't know.
Good. Well, I like you, so that's
This is helpful. This is and I feel like as usual.
Yeah.
Right?
So hey, just a couple days ago, you turned in to me the first issue of a project that I am writing and you are drawing, and
This is true.
I broke all my pencils and threw my paintbrushes in the trash
Don't do that.
and quit drawing comics permanently, because I was so happy and because it looked so good. So we have not
I'm
announced.
very relieved. So thank you.
Well, no, it was beautiful.
Not too much about the breaking your pencil stuff. Don't do that.
Yeah, well, that's just the way we are, right?
That's true.
But so we can't actually officially announce this Mitten joint,
Unless,
but because they're gonna want to do it on their own. We can't even say which company this is for yet.
no, because hey, they sign, it's they call it shots. They sign the paycheck.
Yes, exactly. We're doing things, but we can say that we are working on something together. We can say that one issue of it is completely written, penciled, inked, and ready to go off to the rest of the team. We can say that we're working on issue 2 currently. What else? Like, let's give like 4 hints about this thing, because
Oh gosh.
I think it's something really special, and I think that people might wanna just get a little excited about it. So what should we tell them? What 4 things should we tell them that aren't too spoilery while being somewhat spoilery?
See, that's the trick. I don't know. It's what can we do? Can we tease a genre? Can we tease a thing? Or it's a little bit of a, I don't know. What can we do?
Let's tease genre, but I think first I want to ask you this: what has been the thing about this particular project that has been special so far for you? And in generalities, like we're not going to be like, oh, it's Batman, but
Well, no, but it's, just in the sort of, big scope of things, we've talked about doing something together for, I don't know, ever, basically, and about last year, this kind of started to come into focus, and it kind of all fell together with everyone's scheduling and everything is right. This is kind of, I think that's the most special, but in terms of the actual book, I know it's been a really fun book to just kind of play around with a bunch of stuff I don't or haven't lately been able to sort of delve into. It's a little more, I don't know, out there, I guess, maybe.
I like that.
I can be vague or I don't know.
No, that's good. That's good. So that's one. Chris is telling you that he's getting to step outside of his comfort zone and do something kind of fun and different and exciting. I'm going to follow that up with, I'm actually going to tell you the genre that we're doing.
When I asked Chris what he felt like he wanted to do that was something new and different, he said science fiction. And we were sitting at C2E2, not this year, but last year, right next to one another. You're just stuck by me, by the way. That's how it goes.
This stuff like this happens. You end up talking over a couple conventions when you see it next to a friend, and all of a sudden, books happen.
Yeah, exactly. But you said that you typically do really atmospheric stuff, and you push towards horror or magical horror. And I had a thing that I had been wanting to do that was science fiction, pushing towards science fiction fantasy in some ways, but it's definitely sci-fi. And you, we talked about it, and then you were just remarkably all in.
It's my no. I mean, again, it was just one of those stories, and allowed for some stuff I could really sink into that I just hadn't had the chance to, certainly recently, and if at all, and it's always fun when you get to kind of play in a slightly different environment than you're used to, and this is, again, I absolutely love everything I'm doing. I again been super fortunate, be at home in the Magnolia-verse for a while, and I absolutely love it. But just when sci-fi kind of entered the picture, I was like, ooh, I think this could be a ton of fun, and it's been more fun than I even thought it was going to be. So thank you.
No,
For a really fun story.
Excellent. Let's see. So I'm going to ask you another question so that we can get like, I'll give you a prompt. How about that? So when you started working on this, there was things that you were really surprised by that you liked. Was there anything that you felt like with this project that challenged you in a way that was kind of surprising, that kind of took you out of the norm?
Again, yes, but not in a bad way. Like, it's always fun.
I mean it in the best way. I mean, yeah, it's the good.
The absolute best way is you stumble across stuff, or because I touched on this stuff before, obviously with Wasteland and Umbral and even sci-fi a little bit with the Disciples, but this is one of those things where it's been a little bit since I've been fully immersed in like a sci-fi thing, and it's so much fun. I'm a sucker for landscapes and backgrounds and all sorts of weird stuff like that. I can occasionally get annoyed with my people standing in front of the background. Right. So it's one of those things where trying to come up with stuff that fits the story that I haven't necessarily drawn in the way I'm drawing it before, or in the style, or that was, I guess it should have been unexpected, but I think there's that moment of like, oh, all right, how can I make this look like I'm seeing it in my head, but different enough that it doesn't necessarily fall into sort of the generic idea of what this thing could be. So it's hopefully I pull it off, and as we go on, those I'll continue to expand on that too, because it's always those things in the script when you're reading, you're like, oh, I see this. I'm not quite sure how to tackle it, and that ends up being, those tend to end up being the scenes in the book you end up liking the best, because you do have to put the most thought in, because it's not necessarily, I guess, like a muscle you use that much. Like, okay, I got 75% of this. I kind of worked in before. But then all of a sudden there's a scene you're like, oh, I'm not quite sure how to puzzle this one together. How do I draw this? And inevitably those become the favorites in like the issue or even the series. So
Right.
I like stuff like that. That's fun. So.
I mean, from my standpoint, the moment that we started talking about this, really breaking down like the kinds of things that we were both excited about, and we learned that they were on the same page with it, which is really exciting. But like, I realized that, you and I are pretty similar in the way that we do a lot of stuff that is very grounded and has a lot of black on the page and is very kind of creepy and atmospheric. And when you told me that you got the gig working for the Mignolaverse, I knew that. I was like, yes, obviously that's perfect. Like that was right where you needed to be. But I also think that like it's nice when we get to step outside of that, when we get to draw something that when you're like, well, I'd like to draw beautiful, epic, strange vistas. I'd like to draw, I mean, some of the stuff that you drew in this first issue, the scope of these tiny figures walking across beautiful, vast landscapes. I was like, oh, this is Chris drawing stuff that Chris wants to draw, and that's nice.
It's a little having the open planes. It's a little less claustrophobic. It's weird when like you're drawing a book. I'm so happy with all the stuff I've been doing at Dark Horse with Miguel Earth, but like it's really weird like when you're drawing a book and it takes place inside, let's just say like a room or an alleyway or something, and like you're there and like you mentally get a little. I mean, not even mentally, you feel claustrophobic. Like you're like, oh, I'm actually in this alley, and like it sounds weird, but you kind of have to get in the headspace of these characters, the actors, and you feel like I'm trapped in this little room or this alley or this basement, and to kind of go the opposite direction and have these fields or big open spaces. It's kind of nice. So then when I do jump back into these other little like other stuff that takes place in alleyways and basements and like weird little things like that, that feels fresh and funny. It's just I think jumping back and forth between two very tonally different things is good for me, but it's also, I think, in the end, good for the art of the book, because you don't necessarily start grinding your gears and getting hung up on one thing. The stuff for Project A fuels your excitement for the stuff for Project B, and vice versa. And
Right.
And ideally, that's kind of nice, but and that's what you kind of look for, because you don't want to. Yeah, because if you're bored, or not even bored, but if you're just kind of drawing the same stuff over and over again, it starts to come through, even if you don't know it.
Oh yeah.
It starts to get a little sluggish, and you don't pick up on it, but there's a chance that whomever's reading it going, this isn't quite as up to snuff as it has been. What's up?
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that,
just keep it fresh.
Well, and I think that we've got an opportunity with this. We're building this story and telling it. We've got a comfortable schedule. We're doing it in the best kind of way. It really makes me happy. We'll probably wrap up pretty quickly, but I kind of wanted to do an anecdote really quickly about working with people that you love. And there was a making of documentary about From Dusk Till Dawn, where Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino were talking about the process of making From Dusk Till Dawn. And they talked about your friends and working with friends. And they talked about that, whenever you were in elementary school and middle school and high school,
you had your best friends and like you hung out with those people every day. Like you saw one another and you hung out and you did stuff, and kind of like what kind of bond that is. And they talked about growing up and going to college, and you know, you were lucky to maybe see your friends once a week or once a month, or you know, even a couple times a year. And one of the things that they said that really stuck with me was, if you want to be able to talk to your friends and see your friends regularly as creatives, you kind of have to figure out how to work together. And I think about that a lot with you. You know, I wanted to be able to hang out and go to cons together and sit next to one another and eat and, you know, like have those experiential things. Have the excuse to be like, hey, let's hop on the phone and talk for a little while.
Yeah.
You know, I love the idea that we can have adult friendships in a time where friendships don't really exist in quite the same way because we're working together. And that's lovely to me.
No, and that's one of those things too, especially with this, and it's just been, like I said, it's been so nice because again, I've known you, I think we've known each other since we kind of started this stuff for us, you know, like, God, that's 15, 16 years back in the early days, but like it becomes one of those things where it's like, yeah, like I was kind of looking at it as it's, you know, like part of our class, and it's just one of those things where we've just been there and it's taken all this time, but I think like it's the right time to do it, and comics is, it's such an interesting thing because of that, you know, of like being able to work with people you are friends with or become friends with through the project, and that's really, you know, too, as I'm looking at my little shelf here of the books, I'm like, as I go, I either started with friends or everyone I've worked with have really become friends over, and that's why I think as these books go on, as I get to do this thing, as, you know, we get to do this thing, it becomes a lot of fun because with each new book you do, you know, with your friend, who, you know, and you want to impress them, you know, with your work, and they want to impress you with yours, so it just creates this sort of snowball of like, oh, okay, let's see what I can throw at Chris for this one. And then I'm like, I got this, I'll throw that. And then, again, ideally we feed off each other, and that's been, again, my whole, I know I keep saying I'm very fortunate for this, but I've been really very fortunate with everyone I've worked with, again, either being a friend to start or becoming legitimate friends through, and you don't want to impress anyone more with, you know, your stuff that you do than your friends, and I think that is what kind of keeps me going with this. So it's just a fun thing that we get to do, and doing with friends makes it a little less, again, just a lot less lonely and a little less work. I mean, so it's.
I love that. Well, I appreciate you immensely. I'm so glad that we are getting to work together, and I know that we talked a bit about being sad that the state of things has affected conventions. It's been really hard. I'm glad that we got to share C2E2.
Yes. And this, I love that you're doing this.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
You know, I love, you know, I've talked about this a couple times throughout the day on live stream. I love conventions. I love interaction with fans, with peers. It kind of keeps us going. You mentioned that, you know, this can be lonely work, and that's so true. It's nice to be able to have experiences and share experiences. Comic books are one of the few industries I feel like where we still get to share so much of our worlds directly with fandom. And, you know, it's easy to focus on the bad, but I choose to focus on the good. I appreciate the people that are in our world, appreciate the people that are
following us right now and sharing all of this. I'm a lucky, lucky man.
And I'm lucky to, be part of your circle and be your friend. So, for all the years of you putting up with my generalized twitchiness, can't thank you enough.
Well, same. So thanks so much, brother. I really appreciate you coming on.
No problem. I'm hoping any of it made sense. So it's, I'm just, again, it's the caffeine and just an inordinate amount of, words falling out of my head. So hopefully a few of them linked up to make a sentence. I don't know.
I think it's perfect. I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate it too. I'll talk later.
All right. Thank you, bud. Bye.
Bye.
So hey, that was Chris Mitten. I hope that the sound quality was okay. I realize we're ultra lo-fi here. But that was, Chris. Chris is one of my favorite people, as I said several times on there. I hope it's not too much fawning. We are working on a project together. We are hoping to make an announcement this summer about the project. By that time, we're probably going to have a ton of it done. Chris is very, very fast and very, very talented. I'm lucky right now to be working with Danny Luckert on The Red Mother and Chris on not telling you what it is yet. But these are two guys that work incredibly fast and do incredibly fantastic things. And I really, really enjoy working with them. So I think that we're going to go ahead and wrap up this panel. It is my 5:47. 47. We're going to wrap this up, and then I think I'm going to prep for our next little thing, the cocktail hour. Feel free to join us for the cocktail hour. We're going to have another special guest. I'm going to make an old-fashioned for you guys during the cocktail hour. I'm going to make an old-fashioned for me, and I'm going to share it, virtually share it with you. Thanks so much for being a part of Hauncon 2020. This has been really fun. This has been a great day. I was nervous as hell about making everything work, getting it out there for people to see. Do you have anything that we need, Ethan? Anything?
Someone just asked something.
Okay, well, yeah, let's do that. We're gonna wrap this up with one quick question.
If you had to recommend one of your works from the first 10 years of your career, what would you recommend and why?
Wow. Okay, that's a good question. I've been in comics for 67 years now, so that would be in the first. No, I was realizing that I think I'm at 17 years now in comics, so it's been a while. I gauge everything by my 15-year-old and when he was, when he came to us, because that was really in the past 10 years though.
First 10 years.
First 10 even.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's now. Okay, everything from 8 years ago is out. For me, I think The Leading Man was something that really, I think, changed things for me. It was a project that I did with B. Clay Moore, who was a horrible human being. The worst. I'm kind of kidding. I love Clay. Like a family member that you don't want to see very often. Again, I'm kidding. I brought The Leading Man to Clay and wanted to do that story. It was a concept that I had, and I wasn't ready to write on my own yet. And so we worked on that, and he was very, very gracious and came on as the writer and worked with me, and we developed something special. I started to understand that I can write and draw if I want to. And while he was the writer on that project and did a fantastic job, it really showed me that my ideas were valid, and that I could work not only as an artist, but do more. And that was a fun story. We had a great time with it. It was the first time that I ever had something optioned by a movie studio, and that really changed my world. It allowed me to continue drawing comics when comics aren't always the easiest nor most financially viable thing to do. It fed my family. I had a young son at the time, was yet to have a second son, and it really changed my world. I was very lucky. I met a lot of people that I work with to this day. I'm very grateful for that. I also want to throw out there that I'm very grateful also for the chance to work. I was brought in to do Iron Man Captain America by C.B. Cebulski at Marvel. And that was my mainstream breakout. I got to work on a book that I was not ready for. And it pushed me, and it kind of worked. And I think it's okay. But it let me draw some of the icons of my youth, and was a really important book that did a lot for me. So, yeah. Anything else? Any other quick are people just literally busting balls at this point? What's the
Someone said this is kind of like asking you which child you love the most.
Yeah, no, it really is, by the way. We always joke that the boys had another brother that we just got rid of because he was too much of a pain, and that's the child that I love the most. So, yeah. All right, that was ridiculous, but thank you all. Thanks so much for coming by for the Hauncon 2020 panel, where we talked a little bit about the Red Mother. We answered some questions, and I spoke with my good, wonderful friend and co-creator Chris Mitten. If you want to, feel free to join us in about 10 minutes, a little bit less, for cocktail hour, in which I'm going to make an old-fashioned and drink it and talk to another special, wonderful, amazing guest. Thank you all, and we're signing out for now.